Hello and welcome back on my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again for another Manga Monday. Manga Monday is a series on my channel where I am dabbling into the world of mangas and I'm following your recommendations from other amazing content creators, and I will just see if these manga recommendations are actually good for a beginner or not, because I still consider myself a beginner reader. Today we are looking at a recommendation by, I don't know how to properly pronounce your name. I'm hoping that I'm not butchering it. Lethas. Completely butchered it probably, but anyways, I think the recommendation is good. You definitely need to check out their channel and the full video after you are done watching this one, but let's just check out today's recommendation.
Next up, I have a series you may be familiar with because it recently got an anime adaptation by Wit Studio, and that is The Ancient Magus Bride. Now, this series is much calmer, for the most part, than a lot of the series that I've shown before. It's more whimsical in nature, more mysterious. It has more of that mysterious sort of intrigue that than the other series. But this series has exploded in popularity recently, and unfortunately we are almost caught up with the Japanese release. I believe there are 9 volumes out in Japan, and we are on volume 8 in English, so you do get to be sort of a part of that conversation as the series progresses, if you decide to get into this series now. But also with the thought that an anime series just aired, and it got very good reviews. I think it has over an 8 on my anime list, which usually means the series is very good. Now might be a time to get into this series or watch the anime series that is sort of based on this work. Now, I didn't personally enjoy this first volume as much as a lot of other people did. However, I would advise sticking with it through the second volume, because that is where I found a lot of the intrigue that this series sort of offers, and it's really just very fascinating, the world that Kore Yamazaki has created, and sort of wanting to uncover the mysteries of it alongside Chise, because she is not necessarily exactly as confused or ignorant as the reader might be, but she's around your same knowledge level when it comes to all the things that are happening around her, and so you sort of get to experience this world alongside of her, which is very, very interesting and a very unique, well, maybe not unique, but different sort of take on a story where you as the reader know basically the same information that your main character does. So I really like that, and I think it's a very interesting way to sort of tell this story and explain the world and what's going on. So definitely one I would recommend, but I would give it a couple of volumes before you make your final decision on this series.
That's I love that the recommendation is so clear on giving it a couple of volumes. Not all the recommendations were clear that way, and after reading it and being like, ooh, the first volume might not have been for me, people reach out to me like, yeah, but you have to give it like a few more episodes. I'm like, well, the recommendation didn't say that. I know that one recommendation, you have to keep in mind that I'm taking these videos out of context a little bit, and one in the beginning said that they're recommending the whole series, but the one volume worked for me anyways. So according to the recommendation, I got the first and the second edition, and I would say let's just dive into this right away and get cracking. Let's read these two. So an hour later and I am done. I did enjoy myself quite a lot, to be honest, and I do see the appeal of reading the second one as well. I feel like the second one kind of takes the whole story to a really different level. The first one is more, it feels like a prologue, a prequel, setting up the whole story and just understanding the setting, and then in the second one the story really picks up. I think that Letas didn't really explain what this book was about. We have the Ancient Magus and the Bride, and it's not necessarily about them getting married or something. The young girl is being sold at an auction, and the Magus purchases her for a lot of money because the Magus understands that our young girl has some abilities, is a magic creature of sorts, and he wants to make her his apprentice. So he wants to teach her all the magic, etc. The magic in this world is quite interesting. We have a lot of different creatures, and that's what is probably meant by whimsical. I think that this book really can be recommended to people who enjoy fantasy with loads of different creatures, fairies, and just it has this whimsical kind of feel to it. I felt like the story probably goes into several different levels and will become quite layered and interesting. It wasn't necessarily something that I want to continue following, but that's not because it's not good. It's simply because I'm not interested in this type of story at this point in my life. I'd much rather continue reading Spy Family. I just enjoyed that storyline more, but that is so extremely personal taste in terms of what kind of story I currently want to read. And I'm just in the mood for The Office and not Lord of the Rings. That type of, I hope you get my drift. Anyways, I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars, both editions. I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad that I read it thanks to this. So thanks again for letting me use your clip. I am sure to come back to your channel and potentially read something off of your recommendations again. If you out there have a recommendation for me to read and that you would especially recommend to a manga reading beginner, please let me know, preferably with a short video that I can include in my clip, or if you have a video on your channel that I can use, please let me know. I would love to read more mangas and have more content creators seen on my channel. Anyways, this is it for today. If you like this short video, if you like this series, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to know when I'm uploading. Hit that thumbs up on this video, and please leave a comment because I adore comments and comments are giving me life. Anyways, until then, I hope to see you again on my channel real soon. Until then, bye.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know